my name is Rachel. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about homeschool essentials, meaning supplies that have benefited our family. Hi, if you're new here, I am a homeschool mom to 4 boys ages 10 to 19. I've been homeschooling for 14 years. I actually just graduated my second oldest. But today I want to share with you some supplies or essentials that we have gathered over the years and some of my favorite that I feel like I'm so thankful that I have and that I did make the purchase. The first thing I'm going to start out with is something that really we've only had for about 6 years, but was a game changer. And it's a simple thing. It was a little investment, but it is a pencil sharpener. And this one I did get off Amazon. I'll link it below. I'm not sure what the cost is now. I think I looked up some of the things that I had purchased and I'm like, oh, I think prices have gone up. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But you can look for deals as school comes around and you may be able to find it cheaper somewhere else. I really would definitely, as you're looking for supplies or big investments, don't assume that one place would have the cheapest because that's not always true. So thankful I got this about 6 years ago. Has little suction cups on the bottom. We keep it in one spot. Everybody knows where it is. It's easy clean out. This has been wonderful. So I wanted to share that with you first. Definitely a pencil sharpener is worth the investment. Yes, we do have smaller pencil sharpeners. I do suggest if you want to get one, because we do have some of these when my boys we would travel. It would be nice to have, is that you get one where it has a place that it's going to empty out and not just fall on the ground. Those are very helpful. But my bigger purchase, I am very thankful for. And I want to mention, as I'm showing you some of these things, that you may think, well, I don't have the money to put in to a good pencil sharpener or a big printer. But save up, because if you have younger children especially and you're going to be homeschooling for the long run, these products are worth it. And it helps resolve a lot of frustration, because when you have just a lot of these little ones around, they will get lost and then there's no pencil sharpener, at least until someone finds one. So it's not a quick thing. When they could just walk over to the pencil sharpener, sharpen it, and come back and sit down and keep doing what they're doing. So, but like I said, I've only had this one for 6 years, but I wish I would have bought it a lot sooner. Okay, let's talk about some other simple items that most people probably have or might decide to get, and that's a stapler. But I do suggest, again, a good stapler, because Walmart will open up. Other stores this coming July, August will have all their supplies, but we have bought the cheaper ones and they are cheaper. I hate to say that, but if that is all you can get right now, it will probably last the school year, but it won't last forever. These things I'm mentioning, maybe an office store might be a better place to make your purchase. Another thing that definitely we have used the whole time through, and I just used it today, was a 3-hole punch. And this is a good solid office quality one that I don't even know where I purchased this. I may have had it before I homeschooled, but it's definitely worth it. My son has like a cheaper one that is from like the Walmart deals that they have during the school year, and it's been fine, but there's been times he's come in and asked for this one because it just has a lot more power behind it and it'll do a lot more papers. So I want to share that with you. Again, talking about pencils and markers and even dry erase markers, it's really worth the investment to get the nicer ones. I know when your kids, I'm not saying for preschool, but I know as my kids got into later elementary, middle school, they really appreciated the better quality. I remember the reason I even purchased this is my son was in high school. Biology 2, they actually had the coloring book they had to use for human anatomy, and I went ahead and I purchased him some extra nice color pencils. I really wanted it to be a good quality for him for that particular subject. It was something I ordered off Amazon. I'll link it below. But if it's just preschool, it doesn't matter. They're probably going to break the crowns and break the color pencils and everything else. But just suggesting as they get a little bit older, it's worth the investment to have things a little bit nicer. Okay, another thing that we use for sure is a whiteboard. And I think I've mentioned this in a couple other videos. This one I actually got at the Dollar Tree, but not everything there's $1 anymore. This was $3. It is magnetic, which is nice. I do have my bigger one on the wall over here. I did want it to be magnetic, and I actually found that one like on a clearance at Hobby Lobby. So just keeping your eyes open if you want a bigger purchase. I haven't had that one real long either, probably a few years. So sometimes the investments just take time, and keeping your eyes open, putting money away for those things. Okay, let's talk about something different. We have headphones, and these are the kinds you plug in. These are more of the kid size, and I'll try to link those below. Right now, my boys are a little bit older, at least my 3 oldest, so they like to use the Bluetooth ones, and I'll link one of those below also. But we use these for different things. I actually have purchased this, and I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, that's old-fashioned. And a lot of times kids will just listen to either an audiobook on their phone or the iPad or even the computer. But I can feel like I can leave my kids alone to listen without worrying about them doing something else on the phone or iPad. So this is what we use for audiobooks, or we also have audio adventures, and I have videos on those. I can link that below. But for these, also, they can not only listen to them, but for my boys, I would let them listen and read along, and that is really helpful. Even when my youngest was little, we would go to the library and get some of those smaller books that have the CDs with them. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're in the younger section, and he loved that. I mean, it could have been Curious George or something like that, but he would also like to listen to them on this and then follow along in the book. He may have not needed the earphones for that in particular. The curriculum, the spelling curriculum we're using this fall for my 10-year-old, he will be able to use headphones because it will be audio. So that might be something you want to look into, invest for different reasons if you have several children doing different things. Another thing that I purchased really actually when my second was only in kindergarten, so it was a long time ago, and to me at the time it was an investment. But it was a laminator. This one's probably a little bit old, but it works great. And you get the laminator sheets with it. And I know this is sort of a controversial thing, laminator or not to laminate, but I love the laminator. I used it a lot when my boys were little. So many of the curriculums, especially if you're going to reuse them and they come with cards, whether for letters or numbers or games, you can laminate them and keep reusing them, because if you're like me, my kids are probably going to drop them, step on them, spill stuff on them, and having it laminated, you just have to wipe it off and it takes care of it. Also, if you have particular sheets that you've printed off and you want to reuse them, they can use a dry erase marker on that laminated sheet, whether it be a math practice paper or maybe even like a map where they fill in states. You could just reuse something over and over if it is laminated. So I wanted to share this with you and the suggestions of how many ways you could really use it for. It's great. And another thing that you can use that is similar to that, and I purchased at the Dollar Tree a couple years ago, are these little pockets. You can put the papers in. We used it for a schedule on their wall, so that's an idea. Also, they come in different colors, so if you have several children, you might be able to use one for the different kids. And you can use this in the same way as in laminating. You could put a math paper, or if you want them to practice writing their letters and you want to be able to erase it, this would be a great thing to use for that. So I wanted to share these ideas with you and things that we have used and enjoyed. Something else that we've always enjoyed is a good globe. This is probably, I think it's just our second one. It may be our third. The first one I invested in was more of an interactive one, and the kids really used that a lot, and it got wore out. This one I actually bought used, like at a Goodwill type store. It may have at one time done stuff, but right now they just use it as a globe. And I just like it because they can look at a globe from different angles and really just get a better grasp at where everything is and how the world works. I also do use flat maps, and this is another one. This is more of a cloth one, and I'll link this below. I actually got this off of Amazon. Spread this out on the table, and everybody can be looking at it while you're reading or discussing a particular history subject. I also want to mention there's a map that it's like a peel and stick. It's pretty large, and you can get them at Lowe's and you can get them at Hobby Lobby. And I don't think they're overly expensive. I'm saying $10, but I could be wrong. I don't think it's 20. I think it's 10. Either that or I got it at Hobby Lobby and used a coupon, which you could do also. And they're rolled up with the rest of the maps, but you could stick them on the wall and you could peel them off and move them around if you need to. You can only do that so many times though before it will start tearing up a little bit. But those are great. I have one of those upstairs in my younger boy's room, and we usually have maps in different places in the house. So that is a must staple for us. I also want to mention a printer that I just showed you. It's a Brothers printer. It's a little bit older, and just a printer in general. I will tell you, if you can invest and your children are young, it is totally worth the investment because it gets used a lot. More than you think it will, especially with a lot of curriculum right now that you can get on the computer and print off instead of having them do it for you. We started off with more like the $40, $60 printers, and I like them because they were color, but the ink did not last long. I feel like I was always replacing one of the colors or a couple of the colors at the same time. And then I ended up really wanting a printer that would print a lot and the ink would last a long time. And I found this Brother printer at Walmart on clearance. I know it was $100 or under. It's been a few years and I can't remember, but I remember looking it up thinking it definitely was a good deal at the time. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and it's been great. I don't even buy the exact ink it calls for. I get an off-brand on Amazon, and it has been no problem. So now it does not print color. That's the only sacrifice I've made with that. Will I get another one that prints color? I would like to, if I found one on a deal, a clearance or something. It'd really have to be a really good deal at this point in my homeschool journey. But if you can invest and you're early on, I would say do it because I've used it for so many things. I was thinking earlier, even like at Christmas time and when my kids were little, I like to print things off for them to color, or like a word search, just something that would have to keep them busy. So there's so many things that the advantages of having a printer, and if you can invest in one that is good. Even if you start with a nice black and white one and maybe just get a cheaper colored one for just those special things that you want to print off. Okay, this is more for as they get older, but a good calculator. This one was actually mentioned in my son's Algebra 1 from Mr. Art Reed. He was doing Saxon Algebra 1, and this is the calculator he mentioned to purchase for that. So this is the one we've got, and it's off Amazon, and I'll link it below. Now my older son has more of an in-depth one, and if I can find that, because he still likes his calculator. He's already graduated with an associate's, and he used it for his ACT, so I will link that below in case that is helpful to somebody. And so a good calculator as they get older. Of course, my younger boys, I really did not let them use a calculator until they were in high school, so I want to mention that. And also, the light on the computer I just showed you was something my son had asked for Christmas, one of my older boys, for his computer, and I thought, okay, I didn't really know what that was. I got it for him, he showed it to me, put it up, and I was like, wow, that's really nice. It gives you that extra light, takes a little bit of the glare off. So I was like, I want one of those. So I went ahead and purchased one for our computer, and my third son, who uses this one more for school, really does like it. So I wanted to mention that, and I will also link that below. That is all I have for today. There are so many other things that I can mention, like glue sticks, because that is one thing on my list that we are completely out of, and you would think, okay, my kids are older, I don't need those anymore, but somehow, for some reason, we do. Okay, so I don't need a lot, but not like when they were little. We used a lot of glue sticks. And a couple of my boys prefer mechanical pencil. That is their pencil of choice. So I would try to get a few packs of those for each of them. I hope some of these supplies that I shared with you today were helpful and gave you a little insight, especially if you're new to homeschooling, or if you've been at it for a while like me and think, I really need a decent pencil sharpener. So, all right, if you like this type of content, please subscribe and hit that likes button. That would encourage me. I'm hoping to do a planning video coming up soon where I will probably have something laminated with my laminator. So All right, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I thank you for watching.